yogis and yoginis. So a yin yoga back bend. So we'll work on Sphinx pose. So Sphinx pose, and the target area for this pose is the lumbar spine, the lower back. So we're actually trying to get some gentle compression in the vertebrae of your back. So that dull ache of the bones being squeezed gently together here is actually what we're hoping for when we do a back bend in yin yoga. Notice the key word here is gentle, right? So we don't want anything sharp, stabbing, searing, electrical, tingly. And so depending on how much compression you're comfortable with in your lower back, you may choose to use props here underneath the arms, or you may be just fine with your elbows on the floor. If you're new to yin yoga, you may want to actually just set your timer for 2 to 3 minutes until you get used to practicing yin yoga, and then you can gradually increase to 5 minutes. I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes, but please feel free to set your own timer and come out earlier if you need to. You'll come to lying on your belly, and you'll bring your elbows roughly right under the shoulders, okay? But if this is a lot of compression for you, you could bring your arms wider apart, right? Or you could bring them further away so that the rib cage is more on the earth. Okay, so again, that dull ache of the bones being squeezed together in the lower back is what we want. Okay, so modifications, if you find that even coming to the elbows right under the shoulders is a bit too much for you, then again, widening the elbows, okay, or bringing the arms even further out is also an option. But I'm going to start with the elbows right under the shoulders. Now for those of you who are quite open in your back, this might actually be quite easy for you. So if you do find this easy, there's a couple of other options that you can take here. You could bend your knees, okay, and bring your feet up, and that will deepen the bend in your back and add more compression. So that's one option. You could also take your blocks, whether they be these smaller blocks or a brick, okay, and bring your arms up higher. That will also add more compression in the lower back. Or you could also use a bolster as well, a yoga bolster, underneath your elbows as well. Okay, so you could take a prop like this if you want more height. And if you just find that your elbow bones dig into the earth and that's not very comfortable, then you could take a blanket and stretch it across, and you could use a blanket. I'm just going to go onto the elbows. Okay, so I'm going to start just on my elbows. I'm not going to use any props. So I'm bringing my elbows just right under my shoulders. Okay, looking straight ahead. It could be looking down softly. Some people even like to look down between their arms. So any of those, you want to find a position that's comfortable for your head, and you can move the head as the course of these, as the time ticks on here, if you find that it's not comfortable. And just taking a moment to close your eyes. And again, to begin to come aware of your inner landscape. And just noticing and watching any of the sensations here in your back. Noticing and watching the compression in the lower back. The lumbar spine here is the goal of this pose. And sometimes the shoulders kind of start to feel like they're working a bit too much in this pose just because you do have the weight resting in your shoulders. So, there's no need to keep the shoulders drawing down. You could soften into them a little, or you can move your arms a little bit as we practice if you need to for your shoulders. Bringing your awareness to your body. Noticing the areas of stretch, the tightness, the soreness. And either just watching that with your mind's eye, watching that experience, or maybe just focusing on your breath, or maybe combining those two, and maybe finding your breath and sending your breath directly into that lower back. Okay, so picking whichever option works the best for you as we practice here. Slowly bring yourself down. Rest your forehead on your hands for about a minute. So if you were going to do another back bend, you could go into the second back bend now. If you were just going to do one back bend, then you can bring your hands under your shoulders and Also push yourself back into either child or sometimes in Hatha it's called hero. And again, you can either bring your bum all the way to your feet and stretch out, forehead on the earth, or you could stack your hands if you find that bringing the head all the way down to the floor after a back bend is a lot for you. So just choosing whichever one of those. If you're not doing a second back bend, and just choosing to rest for a minute. Okay, so Sphinx pose, again, great for targeting the lower back, for the lumbar spine, for compression in that area. You can do 2 Sphinx in a row, or you could do a Sphinx pose and then add more height underneath your arms if you wanted to. Or if you wanted to do another back bend, you could move right from Sphinx into seal pose. So I hope that you found that helpful. If you like this video, take a moment to like it and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you want longer videos, more in-depth videos, and special videos that I only offer to my email list, then take a moment to jump on over to my website at nickdanu.com and sign up for the email newsletter. Thank you. Namaste.